Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it guys. So today we're going to talk about a type of aircraft that we already have a lot of them in the game, but there is a specific nation that it's one of the main nations and it doesn't have it yet, which is kinda odd, I gotta be honest. And we're talking about interdictors and the USSR's, of course, SU-24. Why isn't it here? So first of all, let's talk about the SU-24 just a little bit. Of course, I already have videos about it. I already have a diving down video about it. We already talked about the variants there. It would be perfect to be added right now. You would have a 10.3, 10.7 BR range in its initial variant, just like the F-111. You would basically have the same kind of line of thinking as the F-111, so no guided stuff, only the bullpups in the air-to-ground role, some very early missiles, and then unguided bombs and rockets, of course, and even in upgraded models you would have MatAWG systems as well. So it's very similar in purpose and in just the way that everything is with the aircraft as the F-111, right? But I mean, it's not only that, right? The aircraft itself it has its own radars, its own systems, and depending on the variant, it can be more advanced than some of the aircraft that we have in game, less advanced than others. We have multiple variants of it, so later models, just like the Tornado and the F-111F, could carry TV or guided weaponry, right? So lasers specifically, but also the SU-24M could carry TV guided stuff. It has the same kind of system as the TV kind of system, right, as the MiG-27K in the 80s with a MatAWG system, as I said, and of course later it can even be upgraded to the models that are being used to this day, right? So it's an aircraft that, yes, it wouldn't be the most amazing thing ever. It's just like a Tornado, F-111. It wouldn't be the best fighter ever. It wouldn't be the best CAS ever even, but it would be a very iconic aircraft that it's being used, and it was used in many wars, and a lot of people use that thing. So it really, even though it's not really needed, it is an aircraft that, just like the F-111, that wasn't really needed, if you will, but it is interesting to see in the game. I think it really needs that, you know, just not need, but it would be really cool to see that. Of course, we already have a lot of interdictors in the game. We already have the Tornadoes. Of course, we can receive even more Tornadoes in the future, and we have the F-111 that we will probably see better versions of it in the future as well for top tier. Of course, we have the JH-7 and the Mirage 2000D that, although aren't proper interdictors, they can do that role, and due to the nations that they are in not having a proper interdictor from the Cold War, both aircraft can basically be that for those nations if you want to use it like that. And of course, just remember, an interdictor is a tactical bomber basically that can fly really low to the ground. It has radar, ground radar avoidance systems, and it basically, the objective is to be a special operations kind of aircraft. That means behind enemy lines. The objective was to interdict or enter the airspace of the enemy, you know, and go behind enemy lines, destroying specific targets or even deploying nukes, you know. It was basically the reason why the MiG-31 exists, you know, because the MiG-25 was so, you know, effective as an interceptor. The Su-15, all these Soviets interceptors, they were so good as high altitude interceptors that maybe overwhelming the air defenses and interceptors of the Soviet Union wouldn't be the only answer in a war. Maybe flying very low to the ground where there is ground clutter and other problems for the enemy would mean that these aircraft can actually remain, you know, alive while deploying the bombs and the weapon systems that he have, right? So an interdictor is a fast aircraft that can fly very low to the ground and deploy a lot of bombs. That's pretty much it. Of course, it can do very other amounts of things like guided stuff later, but that's pretty much what an interdictor is. And then we go for the problem. Why isn't the SU-24 added to the game right now? And I think it all comes down to the drop feed problem. If you don't know, I mean, it's not an official answer, but it tends to feel that Gaijin drop feed us like for most of the content. What this means is that they basically slowly add stuff so that there is always content to be added. It's a normal thing that game developers do, and of course there is always the technical, problems of dealing with a large amount of content every single time, so there cannot be like a December patch every single month of the year, right? It takes time. The team needs to work on these things, and there's other things that they need to work on, and it's a lot of work, right? So although it's okay to have these, I think it's just a matter of how things work in the game industry and in real life, to be honest, with work. There is one problem that I think we might need fixing, and the SU-24 kind of gives that away a little bit. So the tornado was added last year in the December patch, and then the F111 is added right now, and who knows when the SU-24 is added. And then we have something like, well, the SMT was added together with an F-16, but there's multiple nations that also don't have anything right now going for them. See the trend that they take with this system a long time to add stuff, which is fine, but then the choices of adding the aircraft are kind of weird sometimes, or vehicles in general, right? Because why not add the tornado, maybe even taking a little bit more time to add the tornado, for example, or the F111, but add the tornado, the F111, and the SU-24, for example, together. Maybe add together top tier fighters for every single nation at the same time, or focus on that on the same patch. Then you would have some troubles. For example, you would need to have one patch that it's basically only aircraft, for example, and then the other patch would be only tanks and stuff like that. So it would be boring for some players to be like that, but I just think that it would be a little bit more balanced in the long run. We would see additions that are really, really more balanced overall, being added together, and it's just really easy to make more balanced kind of decisions on what will be added to the game. I think that's pretty much what sums it up, right? So for example, if the MiG-29 SMT isn't added right now in the patch before this one, and the F-16C also isn't added right now, but then they are going to add the Gripen in December, right? Maybe, probably. So add the SMT and the F-16 together with the Gripen, and then add something that was going to be added in that December patch. Let's say, for example, the SU-24 is to be added in the December patch, for example, just something like that. Add before together with the F111 or something like that, So I don't know, maybe the decisions of what comes to the game needs to be a little bit better in the sense of balancing as a focus, and not giving, you're getting something right now, but then you get something in the future. I prefer it to have everything in, like, for example, just a jump from time to time, with everybody receiving something on that jump, and then a couple of patches without anything, than what we have right now, which kind of creates some troubles. But I mean, who am I, right? I don't know anything. They might do some marketing, researches and anything like that, and it might work in a different way. But it's just weird that we have all of these interdictors and we don't have the SU-24, or we have the SMT and the F-16C, and we could already have the Fox 3 missiles, but we don't have it because other nations need to receive the other aircraft first, so it's kind of a weird position of balancing. It's just weird. I don't know. Just my opinion. It's not bad. It's just that it's just an idea that I would like to see, maybe. Or an idea that should be going forward and discussed between the community, right? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this, and I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and